We're back. So the cake has come out the oven. Let me show you. So it's come out. I've cooled it. So I've left it out on a wire rack and I've cooled it down. And now I'm on the final bit, which is putting it together and then decorating it. So what I've done so far is each layer I have put the, just going to move it in a little bit. I've put some buttercream. So you make buttercream by putting butter and icing sugar in a bowl and mixing it up until it looks like this. And it gets quite loose, as you can see. It's quite loose. So that's buttercream. So I've made some buttercream. I've put buttercream on one side of one of the cakes and jam on the other, some raspberry jam on the other, and then I've just put one on top of the other and sandwiched it. So we're on to the final cake. This is the last one. So I'm going to show you what I did. So on the top of this one, I'm going to put some buttercream. So we spread it out like this. Now this is quite sickly because it's butter and icing sugar. I know it's absolutely delicious to lick off the spoon, but because it is quite sickly, we don't actually want too much of it. Otherwise, when you bite into it, it's not going to taste particularly nice. So I'm making sure that when I spread it on, I spread it thinly so that it doesn't make people feel sick when they eat it. So there's the buttercream. And I make sure that it goes all the way around. And then on the other side of my sponge, I'm going to put the raspberry jam. Now I don't normally spread this too thickly either, because otherwise I think, especially with 4 layers of cake, it can be a little bit too much. So I'm going to spread this. I'm going to go very careful because what I don't want is to break up the cake. So we're going to spread this all the way around. We want to make sure it goes right to the edges because it's the worst bit on earth if you're the person that gets the cake that's got none of the filling in it. So there we go. And then we're going to tip that one over and pop that one on the top. And give it a gentle squeeze down. Make sure they're all equal. Now the final bit of this, now you can choose whether you want to ice the whole of the cake. I'm not going to. Oh, excuse me, my voice went funny there. I'm not going to. I'm just going to tidy up the edges a little bit though, because some of the cream is going around the edges and that doesn't look particularly neat. So I'm going to just neaten up the edges of the cream, and then all I'm going to do is pop a bit of the buttercream on the top. Now it won't look particularly neat and tidy, but we're not so worried about that. Now it's moving a little bit, which is slightly on the annoying side, but that's okay. Once people cut into it, they won't worry so much. So we're going to put some buttercream on the top. Now this can afford to be a little bit thicker, but still, again, we don't want it too thick. And the other thing we want to do is make sure that we don't smooth it round too much, because we don't want any crumbs showing through. So let's make this a little bit thicker all the way around, and then we get to do the fun bit. And the fun bit is decorating it so that it looks like a pretty cake. I've got a couple of bits and pieces that I'm going to try and put on the top. Smooth this round. This. Here we are. Now it is leaning a little bit, but I'm not very good at making cakes, so I have to say I'm not that worried that it's leaning. Because the fact that it looks as if it's something close to edible fills me with joy. Right, so the first thing I've got, which I think are always important, aren't they, is hundreds and thousands. So I'm just going to cover the edges with some hundreds and thousands. Now these little balls of sugary joy do tend to go absolutely everywhere when you're putting them on. So just go careful. And if you've got a dog at home, go a little bit careful, because otherwise they're going to be loving life as they vacuum up all your little hundreds and thousands from the floor. So I put some hundreds and thousands on the top, and then I also bought in the shop, you can get these pretty flowers that can go on the top. They're completely edible. To get a little one of these wafer flowers you can get, and pop those around the strawberry. I think I'm just going to do 3. One there, one there, and one there. So it's like a little flower, and there you have it. That is it. That is the final 4-tier decorated rainbow cake. Now my big job now is to try to get it somehow on the cake stand, but I'm not going to record that because that I know is going to go wrong. So there you have it, a rainbow cake. How exciting. I hope you have fun. If you try to make one, you can always do it just with 2 layers and just have 2 colours. That's what I was going to do originally, but I've ended up doing it with 4 layers because there's more people coming round to my house for the tea party. So I'm going to make sure that I've got enough to share between everybody. So there you have it. So have fun, enjoy. If you do decide to make it, obviously let us know, but keep yourself super, super safe when you're doing it. Make sure you've got grown-ups help. All right, take care. Good luck.